Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome. In this video here, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about unit conversion and how we convert to a larger unit for measurement or to a smaller unit of conversion. Um, uh, and so I'm going to show you guys using what's called the step or the ladder method. It's kind of the easiest way to do this. So just kind of refresh on a previous video. Remember, in science, we use the metric system, which is different for my fellow Americans, which we don't typically use very often in our everyday, except for things like time. We use seconds. Not too many of the other ones like meters and grams, kilometers, kilograms. We don't use that much in our everyday life. But in science, we use them because we need to have an international system of units. And we are in the minority to use something other than the metric system. So when we use the metric system, it's a unified system that everyone in the world could do. This is about 10 centimeters. This measurement is known as 10 centimeters between my two hands everywhere in the world, except for in America and a few other places where this is about 6 inches. All right. If some people are talking about inches and some people are talking about meters or centimeters, there can be confusion, especially when language barriers are there. And so we use the metric system so that we have something to compare it. But sometimes measuring things like this is a good measurement to use the centimeters. But if I'm talking the distance from here, I need to drive to see, let's say, visit my parents' house in Cleveland. I don't want to measure that in centimeters. That's just that the number is going to be so huge that it's kind of unwielding. So the beauty of the metric system is that it can scale in the power of 10, which basically means everything instead of in the American system where 12 inches, why the number 12, 12 inches in 1 foot, then 3 feet into 1 yard. Why 3? Why not just go by 12s again? The scale that's constantly changing. 5,280 feet in a mile. Like, remembering those numbers are hard to do, and then you're scaling it. Metric system's very good. It's all by the power of 10. There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. There are 10 centimeters in 1 decimeter. And there are 10 decimeters in 1 meter, so on and so forth. Everything's just a power of 10, so you can keep going up by 100, then 1,000, or 10, and then 100, and then 1,000, and then 10,000, so on and so forth. And so I'm going to show you how we convert from one size to another. It's just a very useful skill when we're measuring things. You always want to use a measurement that is most appropriate for the moment. So what we have here is what we consider the base, or what we call the ladder system for doing this, because it kind of looks like a step ladder. All right. So first thing you notice is that there's this thing here, the base unit. All right. So I'm going to write over here. This base unit could be basically anything that we're going to be measuring. It's our basic unit. So it could be grams if it's for mass, or it could be meters if we're measuring length, or liters if we're measuring volume. It can be seconds if we're measuring time. All right. It's basically the basic unit. All right. And then with that basic unit, we can add on a prefix. All right. So we have the prefixes kilo, hecto, deca, then the base unit, then deci, centa, and milla, or milli. These are the different prefixes that we can add onto the gram, to the meter. So prefix goes before, to the liter, to the second, to make the second into smaller units, or the grams into bigger units. 1 kilogram is bigger than 1 milligram because that prefix means it's a little bit bigger. All right. And so the easiest way to do this is to convert from one to another is to basically jump on the scale. And you're going to be multiplying. You either go, when you're moving to the right of the scale, you are multiplying by 10 each step. And if you're moving to the left, you divide by 10 for each step. The easiest way to do this is, if you have a number, is to just move the decimal place one way or the other. All right. So if I want to know, for example, so remembering this in order is a big deal. If you need to make a mnemonic device like, King Hector decided, let's see, base, before dinner caught Millie. That's terrible. I'm sorry, but you get the point. Remembering the certain order. All right. So I'm just going to change my color here. All right. So let's say I want to know if I have 1 hectoliter, and I want to know how many centigrams is that. All right. So I'm going to start with where I am, hectoliter, and I'm going to jump until I get to centigrams. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps to the right, which means 1 is actually 1.0, right? So I'm going to move that decimal 4 times to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd add 1, 2, 3. I'd add 4 zeros. It's 10,000 centigrams. All right. There's 10,000 centigrams centiliters in 1 hectoliter. All right. So that can be a little confusing. So let's do a couple practice problems just to kind of look at this in a little bit cleaner space to do this. All right. So let's set this up here. All right. So first I'm going to do across the top here just so that I have it available for myself. Since I'm on a separate page, I'm going to put the prefixes. So I know is killa to start, then hecta, then deca, which can be abbreviated DK or DC for some people. Then we have the base, dessa, centa, and milla. All right, so I'm going to go, in this case here, I have 36.52 milligrams, and I want to know how many grams. So grams would be the base in this example here. All right, so I'm going to start. I'm putting my pen on the screen because I don't want to mess it up too much. All right, I'm putting it on the milligrams, and I'm going to jump jump to the left 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. It took me 3 jumps to the left to go from milli to the base or grams. So I'm going to take this decimal place. I'm going to jump 3 times. 1 to the left, 2, 3, and that's my new decimal place. All right, so in math class, we would say we'd fill in the zeros there. That'd be 0.00365 grams. All right. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I had to make sure I did that right first. Okay, so if I wanted to go from kilograms to milligrams, so I'm going to start at kilograms, right? And I'm going to start at kilograms. I'm going to jump to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I'm going to have to move this decimal place 6 times to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'd have 1, 2, 3 more zeros added on. So I'd have 14, 7, 2. So that's 1,472,000 milligrams. That's a lot of milligrams, but that's the power of the scale. The scale is, so I wouldn't want to measure something that's 14 kilograms. I would not want to use milligrams. But if I was given milligrams for any reason, I can easily convert it. All right. So that's basically the whole idea, is just this idea of you're moving the decimal either to the left or the right, the number of jumps you need to reach that prefix. All right. And then you just got to remember your math rules about putting a decimal and filling in the gap. All right. Or you can use a calculator. You can literally use the picture of before, where you could just multiply it that many jumps by 10. If you do 3 jumps, that's times 10 times 10 times 10. And that will give you your answer. All right. So You can practice this by literally just picking any two and going through that. Just doing it a couple times, thinking it through. Um, Sometimes taking the first couple times as you get used to it, literally taking your pencil and counting the number of jumps and drawing it out like I did can really help. And then once you get kind of get the hang of it, you can probably do it kind of in your head or just kind of by sight. All right. I think that's it. Thanks for watching, and good luck, and may the science be with you.